There's a AI coding setup that is 17 times cheaper than your usual setup. And that is what DeepSeek plus OpenCode gives you. I'm sure you might be already paying for Cloud Code or Codex and your setup works fine. Here's why this video is worth 10 minutes of your time. On most coding benchmarks that people actually care about, DeepSeek V4 Pro is just behind Opus 4.7 by a single digit. But cost is just the part, and most people who switch to DeepSeek often miss how important the harness is. In this video, we are going to cover how the harness matters as much as the model, what exactly is DeepSeek V4, and why we are choosing OpenCode as the harness. I'll walk you guys through the limitations and my honest takes at the end, so let's dive straight into it. Let's start with the most important question, which is, does the harness matter if the model is good, or it doesn't have any effect? So Matt Meher, who runs this AI coding benchmarks on his YouTube channel, performed a benchmark using Opus 4.6 on both Claude Code and Cursor, and what he found was Cursor scored more when it comes to planning. So that clearly indicates that harness plays an important role. So that is how a cheaper, faster model in a better harness can actually compete with the great model in a weak harness. And in case you might be wondering why I'm choosing OpenCode as the harness, let's dive into that part. If you read Hacker News and Reddit, you know there's one name that keeps on surfing, which is OpenCode. If we look at the GitHub, we can see it has around 163K stars. And if we see at the homepage of OpenCode, it clearly mentions that there are around 7.5 million downloads every month, and it is clearly trending in the Hacker News and the Reddit space. What makes OpenCode so special is it is model agnostic, which means you can run any model using the single interface. It supports more than 75 LLM providers and even local models. You can run ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and more such models. Another thing that makes it stand out is it is open source, and you can run it directly from your terminal, integrate with your existing IDs, or even use the desktop app. And desktop app is something that I prefer personally. Having understood the harness, now let us take a look at what is DeepSeek V4 and what sort of models does it provide us. So DeepSeek V4 was released on 25th April, which is less than a month old, and it provides two flavors. The first is the V4 Pro model, in which 1.6 trillion parameters are there in total, and the other flavor is V4 Flash, which is a smaller model, which is having 284 billion parameters in total. And both of these have something in common, which is mixture of experts. So basically, a subset of parameters are active. And in DeepSeek V4 Pro, 49 billion parameters are active. And for the Flash one, 13 billion parameters are active. And both of these models that you see have 1 million context length. They are open source and under MIT license. The interesting part for coding is the attention mechanism. And if you see other large context models, you may notice that they struggle at 200 tokens because the key value cache gets too big. How DeepSeek V4 differs in this case is it splits the attention into two parts. The far back context is getting sparsely compressed, and the rest of it is very aggressively compressed. And if you might be thinking how that will benefit you is you can actually download your whole microservice in the context. You can get the full source code, test scripts, and everything in the context. Let us take a look at the money aspect. So as you can see here, for DeepSeek V4 Pro, there is a promotional offer going on where the DeepSeek is providing 75% off, which is a great deal. And the offer is running till May end. So if you want to avail it, do check it out and purchase it. And for 1 million input tokens, it is currently at 43 cents, and it is at 87 cents for 1 million output tokens. And if it will return to its original price, for 1 million tokens, it would be $1.7. And for the output tokens of 1 million, it will stand at $3.4, which is still cheap in compared to the Opus and ChatGPT models that we pay for. As we all know, when it comes to models, reasoning efforts play a very critical role, and DeepSeek supports three reasoning levels. The first one is non thinking, and this is for having fast responses. And the other two are within thinking. So we have a reasoning effort of high and max. Use max if you are dealing with something which is pretty complex. Otherwise, you can use high. After going through the foundational concepts, the next part is doing the setup. And before getting started with the setup, here's something that I want you guys to do. This is step 0. Try out the chat interface. It is available in the web at chat.deepseek.com. You simply have to create an account and it is free to use. And this is something that I have been using a lot lately. So if you see, there's something called instant, and the instant mode is serving the DeepSeek V4 Flash model. And if you want to get a flavor of the Pro model, then you should switch to the expert mode. As it says, it is good for complex problems. The instant mode is good for having daily conversations. Spend some time here, ask it questions, try it out. And if you like the responses, then only I'll suggest you guys to move ahead with the video. And this is something I've been using personally for a long time, and I really like it. It answers the questions in accurate manner. Do try it out and let me know what you think. If you're ready to do the setup, let's start with step 1, which is to get OpenCode. And you can download the desktop app directly using this download button, or you can use the curl command, brew command. It is super easy to download it. And if you already have a version of OpenCode downloaded, make sure you update it to the latest version so that we can use DeepSeek along with it. After getting the latest version of OpenCode installed on your machine, the step 2 is coming to DeepSeek platform and topping it up. You need to sign up, create an account, and feel free to top it up with any amount that you want. I would recommend you guys to try it just with $2. That's what I've done. And you will be shocked to see how long these $2 will last, especially with the promotion that is going on. Once you have added the top up amount, then you have to go to this API keys section and create a API key for yourself by clicking on create a new API key. And once you create the key, remember to save that API key because that is what we are going to use in OpenCode. Let's move on to step 3 where we will connect DeepSeek with OpenCode. So this is the OpenCode desktop app that I have. And in here, we'll click on settings, we'll go to providers, we'll click on show more providers. And here we will search for DeepSeek and I'll click on it. And if you see, it will ask you to enter your DeepSeek API key and you will paste the same API key that you have just created and then click on continue. And once you have done it, you will see the DeepSeek section will show here in the models part, and you can select either V4 Pro or V4 Flash. It depends on you. But for coding, I would recommend you guys to stick to V4 Pro. This is how easy the setup is. It is going to take less than 5 minutes. Do try it out. And you remember I talked about 3 reasoning modes. If you see all these reasoning efforts, don't get confused. Low and medium points to high, and high and max points to max reasoning effort in the terminology of DeepSeek. And the same is true for the Flash model as well. I want to quickly show you guys what I have been using DeepSeek V4 Pro for. So as some of you might already know, I'm working on a video editing tool that I currently use to edit all my videos. So there was this issue with subtitle editing. If I'm manually editing subtitle and I save it, the cursor used to go to the starting of the subtitle and I had to come back again to the same point. So this Pro model actually helped me in fixing it very nicely. And this is where you can see the conversations. Okay, let's talk about another scenario where I noticed, especially the short form videos that I'm creating, the quality is not coming that good. So I asked it to analyze it and fix it for me. After creating the PR, when I cross questioned and dig in deeper, then it said that this is not the main fix and it started talking about other things. So let's talk about my honest experience and my review on this. So I feel when it comes to simpler and easier tasks, the Pro model does the work for you. Of course, run it in the max capacity. In the scenario that you have seen a few seconds ago, where I gave it a complex task, it will give you answers and make you believe that it's correct. But don't settle and don't believe the first answer it gave you. Try to dig in deeper, ask it to provide supporting documents, evidence, and you will notice that it will change its answer. So that's another thing. You need to actually cross question it to come to the right conclusion. And that is something that I've noticed from my experience. Your experience could vary with it. Just wanted to share my learnings with you. The other limitation that I've faced is in case if you come across a bug and you want to capture the snippet and send it to your coding agent, that's where the Cloud Code and Codex are really good. But when it comes to DeepSeek V4 Pro, it is text only model. What I mean is you cannot attach images to it, especially in the open code format. So that is another thing. Do keep that in mind when you're trying it out. This brings us to the end of the video. I hope it was useful. And do remember that harness is as important as the model. So, a couple of months back, when we used to say harness or a coding tool, we used to mean which model. And now, harness and model are two different things. So, ensure that you pick up the right harness for a right model. Very recently, I was scrolling Reddit and I came across a comment from somebody who said that they were trying to use DeepSeek V4 on GitHub Copilot and they're complaining that it is not working simply. So do not blame the model. Check your harness and pick the harness wisely. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.